have our TV IP 512P, our ProView PoE wired internet camera. And again, we're going to go over TrenNet IPView Pro 2.0. Down here you can see a couple screenshots of it. It looks a little different, a little bit more polished. We'll go over that later at the end of the presentation. Okay, so on the agenda today, we're going to go over package content. So what you get with the cameras themselves, the system requirements to run the cameras. We're going to quickly go over the TVIP 512WN and the 512P. We're going to go over the physical interface and their standout features. We're also going to have an IPView Pro 2.0 overview, the system requirements to run it, a comparison of softwares, IPView Pro 1.0 compared to the new 2.0, and then we'll have a live demo at the end of IPView Pro 2.0. Alright, so here's the TV IP 512WN package contents. So you get the multi-language quick installation guide. You're going to get your two decibel antennas. So this is for the TV IP 512 and WN specifically. These are for the wireless and MIMO connectivity. Now you get the range and performance of wireless and on your camera. We're going to have the utility CD-ROM, also has the user manual on it. We're going to have a Cat5 Ethernet cable, and we're going to have the power adapter, 12 volt, 1 amp, and of course the mounting stand that comes with the camera. Alright, the TV IP 512P package contents, pretty much identical, minus the antennas because this is a wired only camera. It is PoE, so it does have a native PoE port on it, and of course you get the utility CD-ROM, quick installation guide, Cat5 cable and power adapter, and of course the mounting stand. Alright, to talk about system requirements, there's a few different, it depends on if you want to manage the cameras or if you want to view the cameras. So if we're talking about requirements to manage the camera, you do need a computer with Windows 98, 2000 XP or Vista, with Internet Explorer 6.0 or above. We have tested Windows 7. It does also work as well. It does work with the new Internet Explorer 8.0. The reason why that you need a PC with Windows is because you do need the Internet Explorer ActiveX controls in order to manage the camera. So in order to view the camera, there's a little different requirements. You basically can have almost any type of operating system, including Windows 98, 2000, XP, Vista. Again, we got it down there. We got Mac OS 10 or above, and of course Linux OSs. Supported browsers, we have Internet Explorer 6.0 or above. We have Safari 2.0. And we have Firefox 2.0. Opera, Netscape, and Google Chrome. So, I mean, those are all your popular web browsers out there in the market today. What you can do with these browsers, you can basically open up the web browser interface and go to the camera's IP to view the live image. And so to view it, you don't necessarily need a Windows PC. So now to go over the TVIP 512WN ProView Wireless and IP camera. It does have dual streaming, so it has motion JPEG compression as well as MPEG-4. Some of you might know that MPEG-4 does save you a lot of hard disk space. In a 24-hour period of recording, motion JPEG can run you up to about 25 gigs in a very high quality VGA resolution and a high frame rate. Whereas the same settings in an MPEG-4 recording can be limited to anywhere from 4 to 6 gigs a day in a 24-hour period. So MPEG-4 does add more compression to the video, so you save your hard disk space. Of course, we have the IEEE 802.11n Draft 2.0 support, so this will work with wireless and routers on the market today. It has a removable CS mount type lens, so you can actually take this lens off and replace it with wide angle, varifocal zoom lenses, and even our TV IR 500, which will be coming out later in August. We have VGA resolution, so 640 by 480 quality resolution at 30 frames per second. It does have two-way audio. It has a built-in microphone, which you can see here on the front of the camera. And then it does have a 3.5mm jack on the back in order to connect a set of, for example, desktop speakers, so you can actually speak through the web browser or through ProView software to those speakers to where the camera is located. You have 16-time digital zoom, so this is much different than our other cameras that had digital zoom. It's much more clear. Even at 16 times, you can still make out like faces and details. So this is a little different digital zoom. we do have a live demo too on our website, so you can go there to look at the video as well. It does have an SD card slot, so that's something new to our cameras as well. You might have seen USB in the past. With the SD card slot, you can fit a 16 gig SD card in there. And the camera actually has a motion detection setting where it will actually, on motion detection events, record video to the SD card. And we've been able to actually get an entire days of video within 11 gigs, 11 or 12 gigs. So it's totally possible to have one 24-hour period recording stored on a single SD card. We have WPS security. You can't see it on this angle, but on the right side there is a WPS button, so you can quickly connect with WPA security. And of course it comes with a mounting stand. If you want to mount it on the ceiling or against the wall, you can do so with the mounting stand. The TVIP 512P is our ProView PoE IP camera. So the difference here is there's no antennas, and it does have the native PoE port on the back, so you can use a PoE injector, for example our TPE101i, or you can use a PoE switch, for example our TPE-80WS, to power the camera as well as provide data to it so you can stream video and power the camera through one single cable. It does have the removable CS mount type lens, VGA resolution, two-way audio, 16x digital zoom, SD card slot and mounting stand. Same as the WN, just with the PoE support now. So here's an overview of the camera. You can see here how it's set up. We have a PoE switch powering our PoE versions of the 512. And then you can see here that we have our TEW635 BRM wireless N modem router. And this is connecting our wireless N cameras. And then you can see down here is kind of a quick cheat sheet showing you all the information about the 512 WN more specifically, but these also work for the 512P. You can see here there's three different resolution settings. You have VGA, QVGA, which is 320 by 240, and QQVGA, which is 160 by 120. Lowering the resolution can save you some disk space as well, so that's something to keep in mind. You can see here for security, specifically for the WN, we now have WPA2 PSK support. And then you can see the camera specifications here. It does have a 1/4-inch color CMOS sensor in it. The lens is actually a 1/3 inch lens, so 1/3 inch. So make sure if you do replace the lens, you do get a 1/3 inch lens. Resolutions, again, the maximum resolution 640 by 480. Fixed lens, 6mm focal point. F-stop of 1.8. 0.5 lux on the camera, and of course we've already gone over some of the features. It does come with a 3-year warranty as well. Alright, here's a quick comparison because the TVIP 512P and the TVIP 512WN did replace our wireless and wired versions of the TVIP 201. Let's go over image compression first. You can see here that we added MPEG-4 support, whereas the 201 had motion JPEG support. The minimum illumination is dropped. We'll show you a cool feature in the 512 called night mode, but the 0.5 lux does help this feature compared to 2.5 lux. Again, lower number here is better because that is less light that's needed to create an image in the camera. Video resolutions are the same. You have the SD card slot, which the 201 did not have. Audio support, two-way compared to one-way audio. The 201 had a microphone for sensing audio in the environment. Wireless radio, when we're talking specifically about the wireless versions, we have wireless N now compared to our older wireless G in the 201. And of course, wireless encryption, we did add WPA2 PSK support. And the camera software, whereas the 512 right out of the box works with IPView Pro 2.0, no firmware upgrade needed. Whereas the TVIP 201 comes with IPView Pro 1.0, and you actually do need to perform a firmware upgrade to run the newer IPView Pro 2.0. Don't worry, it's very easy, and the firmware is free and available at our download section of the TVIP 201 camera. Now we'll talk about some of the enclosures for the TVIP 512 and some of our other cameras as well. You can place the TVIP 512WN or TVIP 512P outdoors using one of the two of our enclosures here. We have the TVH500 or the TVH510. TVH500 is if the ambient temperature in your environment does not exceed or drop below the camera's operating specifications. If the temperature does exceed or drop below those temperatures, you are going to need the TVH510, which has a heating and cooling mechanism inside the camera enclosure here to keep it within its operating specifications, and keep it cooler, keep it warm, and in crazy temperatures. Alright, let's go over the physical interface. So we're going to go over the front view first. I really like the LEDs on the TVIP512. In the default mode, you have the power, which is a green solid light, and then you have a link light, which is amber, which is usually solid. What's nice about this LED is you can gain some information by it, because when someone is viewing the light, the amber light will blink, so you know someone is actually viewing the camera, whether it be remotely or on the local network. So that's a cool feature that we've added to this camera. Side view, again, we're going to talk about the SD card slot here. Just want to make sure you guys know currently the maximum card support is 16 gigs, and you can take video or snapshots to the or save video or snapshots to the SD card. All right, let's look at the back view. This is specifically the TVIP512WN, but the 512P has exact same back minus the antennas, of course. The 512WN has the 802.11n 2 decibel antennas. We have 2 of those. Reverse SMA connector. If you're going to be placing these in enclosures, especially the WN, you're going to have to remove the SMA antenna and replace it with one of our outdoor arrestor kits and outdoor antenna cables and our outdoor antenna. So this is to get the wireless signal outside of the outdoor enclosure, but the 512WN can work outdoors with outdoor antennas. Moving on, we have the speaker port. So here is a 3.5 millimeter port, so you can actually plug in some speakers, so you can actually talk through the camera through web interface or through ProView software. It is a fast Ethernet port on the back, 10100 megabits per second. We have our I/O ports as well as our RS485 ports on the back here, and our AC power adapter port, 12 volt 1 amp power adapter receptacle. Alright, so this is where I want to talk about some of the standout features, which is night mode, which is something new to our cameras, or at least IPView Pro series. This camera is not night vision by default, but when you enable this night mode, you need very little light. It simply could be like a hallway light to illuminate the image. It'll actually lower the frame rate and actually allow you to see more in the environment. And you have 3 different shutter settings. You have 1/15. You have 1/7.5, and then you have 1/3.25. As you get lower in number, the more sensitive it becomes to light, and the frame rate again will lower in order to compensate and create an image for the viewer. So that's a cool feature in our 512WN and 512P cameras. And then another thing I wanted to point out was the TVIP 512P and TVIP 512WN have 4 video profiles, which is something new to our cameras as well. And so you can click on any one of these profiles to change the way the viewing format is. And so if I go back one slide here, I want to show you guys, these are where the video profile settings are, same page where the night mode is. And you can actually have different video compression, so it can be MPEG-4 or motion JPEG. You can change the resolution. So the use for this is you might have users that might be on the local network that want to have a better quality video. So they might want to have a higher resolution and a high frame rate and low compression. Whereas someone maybe over the internet wants to use a lower resolution and a lower frame rate and higher video compression in order to get the video more fluid and over the internet. So there are different video profiles you can choose from, so different viewers can view different streams. And then we have camera-based motion detection. So most of the IPView Pro cameras do use the IPView Pro 1.0 or 2.0 software in order to create the motion detection windows, whereas the 512WN and 512P have it built into the camera's web interface. And so when you go into the web interface, it's the motion detection section where you can enable video motion detection, and you can change the sensitivity and draw multiple boxes in this image. And each box, it represents a motion detected area. So any motion goes across these boxes, a motion event will be created. And then we have a sensitivity level here. The higher the number, the less sensitive it is. The lower the number, the more sensitive it is. And then, of course, you have 2 different drawing modes. You can draw the motion area, which allows you to create these red boxes, or you can erase the motion area, which allows you to delete portions of these red boxes with the entire image. So this is the motion detection area. This is used for email notification. You can do motion detection and have it upload a snapshot to an FTP server. You could even have it trigger the input-output ports to maybe sound an alarm. So many uses for the camera-based motion detection. So additional product info can be found at our website, www.TrenNet.com. The TVIP 512P and the TVIP 512WN are both listed there. You can download information such as user manuals, quick installation guides, and of course we have the TrenNetTV.com, which will walk users through the installation process. So we all have that all on our website, so come and visit it, check it out. Now we are moving on to the nice new IPView Pro 2.0 software. Improved, more cameras supported now, supports 32 IPView Pro cameras. We've now capped the CPU resource usage to 80%. So now you're not burning through 100% CPU usage all day, every day when you're running IPView Pro. So this way you'll save on computer hardware as well. Video playback now is within IPView Pro 2.0. We have an IP cam player now that is bundled with utility. You can create 320 motion detection areas similar to the 512WN camera-based motion detection. We'll show you that in the live demo. And of course, camera configuration within IPView Pro 2.0, whereas IPView Pro 1.0 would link you to the web interface. So now you can make changes directly within the software utility. All right, let's talk about the utility requirements. We have a PC or a computer with Windows XP. You can use 32-bit or 64-bit. You can use Vista 32-bit or 64-bit. And I'm currently using Windows 7 64-bit, and IPView Pro 2.0 works without any issues. So Windows 7 as well is supported. Internet Explorer 6.0 or above, also Internet Explorer 8.0 is also supported as well. And that's all you need to run the software. And then let's go through a quick comparison of the old software to the new software. You can see here the development of the software. The production quality is much better. It's a more polished interface now. We have fixed position on the monitor. So IPView Pro, the old 1.0 version, you wouldn't be able to actually drag it around, which could be a problem for some users because some would actually have an extended desktop. And so with IPView Pro, the window is a floating window, so you can actually drag it from one desktop to another if you do have an extended desktop display. It manages 16 cameras compared to the now 32 cameras supported in the new IPView Pro 2.0. The IPView Pro 1.0, you know, when you added 8, 9, 10 cameras, it could be pretty CPU intensive. Now we've actually limited it to 80% maximum regardless of the number of cameras, so that now puts ease on your computer hardware. Video playback through installed AVI player and computer. So with IPView Pro 1.0, you needed like a Windows Media Player, QuickTime, something like that to actually view the recorded video through IPView Pro. Whereas now the Pro 2.0 has video playback within IPView Pro with advanced playback features as well. With IPView Pro 1.0, we had 2 motion detection areas, where now we have 320 in Pro 2.0. And camera configuration via the web browser through IPView Pro 1.0 and Pro 2.0 now can be done through the utility itself. Compatibility, TVIP 600, 600W, we have the TVIP 512WN, 512P, 400 and 400W. That does require a firmware update. TVIP 301 and 301W also requires a firmware update in order to run the IPView Pro 2.0 software. TVIP 201, 201W, 201P requires a firmware update as well. TVIP 100N and 100W-N also works with a firmware update. So what we're talking about here is the cameras that need a firmware update were originally designed to work with IPView Pro 1.0, and so we have actually added a firmware in order to make it work with a new IPView Pro 2.0. We recommend to upgrade the firmware. It is free. It's available for download on our website. We have it for all versions of our old cameras that you see here. The 100N, we have the 201, the 400. The 600 and the 512 do not require a firmware update. 301 does. We're going to have a new camera coming out called the TVIP 501W and the TVIP 501P. though that camera will also be supported straight out of the box, so that will not require a firmware update either. So this way you can have all of your IPView Pro or now ProView cameras in one camera management utility. So let's go over the interface briefly. We'll go over it in the live demo as well. Here we wanted to give you kind of a detailed description of what each button does. So we have the power button here, which closes the application, the minimize button. We have our pan tilt dial here. We have our snapshot. We have our manual record button here. We have our talk and listen buttons here. We have page up and down or left and right. We have our viewer modes, so our viewer layout. There's for our display area. We have full scan, or the full screen button. I mean, scan mode, record all buttons. So when you click this, it'll actually record all your cameras that are installed or loaded on the IPView Pro 2.0 application. We have the playback button, which will open the IP cam player, which we'll show you in the live demo. Configuration button, where you do all your core configurations for Pro 2.0. And what's nice is now Pro 2.0 has a camera status indicator, so even if you're not viewing the camera here, at least you have an indicator down here for all 32 cameras. The indicator will give you motion detection. I'll show you which cameras have motion detection. We'll show which ones are recording and which ones have the GPIO input trigger. So going through the configuration screen, you have camera management. You can add a local camera on your local area network, or you can add a camera by IP or URL. So this also works with dynamic DNS accounts, so you don't have to worry. You can delete a camera as well, so you can select the camera, delete it. I'll show you that in the live demo. So here you show you two different screens. It'll basically discover the cameras on your network when you select a camera in the LAN. When you input the location of the camera, it'll give you a field here to enter the IP address or dynamic DNS address, and of course the port and the username and password. You have tabs here for your camera settings, so you can select schedule recording or motion detection. So you can have it for individual cameras, or you can apply it to all cameras with the Apply to All Camera button down here. You have your schedule recording button here, so you click schedule record, enable schedule recording. You can click your schedule or always. When you click schedule, you can add a new template. So this will pop up here. You can choose a profile name. You can choose day or week mode, start and end times, and we'll show you this also in the live demo. We have motion detection screen. So here you can see it in action. You can see we painted a little box here. Very similar to the 512WN and 512P cameras. And you can see here sensitivity level, draw an erase area, clear it, save the setting, exit. And then what to do when motion detection is detected, what actions to take. You can have it record, you can have it take a snapshot, you can have it create an audio alarm on your computer, and you can actually email with a snapshot, and you can actually add your email recipients here. Alright, so we have our recording options. You can have default recording settings, so you can have it set to a specific size per recording, or you can have it set to a specific time. So you can see here we have the size interval. We'll show you in the live demo the drop-down menu and what options are selectable. We have the file location. We have the recycled hard drive space. I'll give you an actual estimated time of how much that will be compared to your camera settings. And reserved hard drive space for system. So how much hard drive space you want to allocate for the operating system for IPView Pro 2.0. You have your recorded files location, so it's in your documents or my documents folder, camera recordings, the IP address of the camera, and the camera name, the date and the hour, and then it's an AVI file format. We have other options. So you have proxy settings for using a proxy server. Time interval of scans. When you're using the scan mode, this will pause for 5 seconds. You can choose it to stay longer at each camera. This is for the scan mode for each camera. You can set custom sounds for motion detection, your digital GPIO, your input-output ports, and video loss alert. So when the video is disconnected, it'll actually make a sound, so that's useful as well. You have your outgoing mail server information, so you can put in what email address and server that's going to be sending out the email notifications. And then your option when PC restarts, you can have it automatically launch this program at system starting, and you can resume manual recording state on application startup. This is very nice because IPView Pro 1.0 did not have this, so if for some reason your computer lost power and it started back up, it wouldn't open the application and start recording again, whereas now Pro 2.0 does, so that's a very useful feature. We have our playback screen. You can search. You have a search screen filter, so it's more powerful playback. You can filter by camera, by date. You can filter based on motion detection and or the digital input. You have your volume control slider here. You have your faster and slower buttons. This will actually progress the video in 2-speed, 4-speed, and 8-speed. And then you can kind of slow playback at half speed, quarter speed, and 1/8 speed buttons. You have the next file button, you have the play button, pause button, previous file button, and of course the stop button. For showing you the different viewing layouts, we have full screen view, which will basically give you a full screen view. So there's no menus, it's just the camera's image. We have 4-screen view. We have 6-screen view with different options too. You can see down here the viewer layout buttons. There's many different types. We'll go over that in the live demo as well. 28-screen view. We have the 36-screen view. This is a simulated. The actual software can actually have 36 cameras in it, but we only support 32. At 36, you're going to basically be running your CPU at 100%, so 32 is the max supported in IPView Pro 2.0. Just wanted to give you a pretty picture there. Alright, so we have the record a camera and record all buttons, and then the indicator down on the camera indicators down here. It'll be a solid red button. What's nice about IPView Pro, you can actually right-click the screen and you have some different options, motion detection options, digital input options, scheduled recording options. You can enable manual recording, you remove the camera, you can disconnect it, connect the camera. Additional product info for the TrenNet IPView Pro 2.0 camera software. It can be found on our website. It's kind of hidden. It is within the TPIP 512WN and 512P user manual. So you can find more information about IPView Pro 2.0 and its settings, how to set things, how to configure it within the 512WN and 512P user manual. So you can go download that at their websites. So I'm going to hold questions off. Let me start the live demo here. Give me 1 second while I set it up, and we're going to start the IPView Pro live demo. Right, let me get this here. Okay, so first thing I want to show you guys is what IPView Pro 2.0, the installation file looks like. So basically you would go, I'm showing you guys like what the file would look like if you were to download it from our website. So you can go to the, for example, the TPIP 512WN or the TPIP 512P camera, go to the download section, and in the download section there is the IPView Pro 2.0 utility. You would download it. It's going to be in a zip format. So you can see here it's IPView Pro 2.0 version 1.0.0.1117. Compressed file is about 2.3 megabytes. When you extract it, it's about 2.55. There is a single exe file here to run the installation. Double click it. You'll get a little security warning. Click Run Anyways. And then you would basically get a series of nexts. You click Next, Next, Next to finish. I've already installed it, so I'm going to cancel this installation. Yes, I want to exit, close. And the IPView Pro, the actual, like when it's fully installed, it's about 6 megabytes, so it's 5.87 megabytes. It's the folder structure here is, I'll show you. Let me go to my computer. It's going to go to the C drive. I'm running 64-bit, so it is a 32-bit application, so it's going to be in the program x86. And then I'm going to go to our TrenNet folder. So there it is. And then I'm going to find the IPView Pro 2.0 folder, double click on it, and here are all my installation files. So that's where the actual file is installed. Of course, you can change this on installation, but this is the default file location. So let's get started and let's open the IPView Pro 2.0 application. So here it creates a desktop shortcut. So I'm going to double click that and start our live demo here. So I'm going to pause a little bit because we are eating a lot of bandwidth here running the webinar with the live video in the IPView Pro demo. So you might see me pause or might hear me pause to let the video load. But right here you can see we have the TVIP 512P camera loaded in our lobby. It's pointed outdoors, so it is an indoor and outdoor camera, and it does have the respective light settings in the camera's web configuration. What I want to show you guys first is that you can actually drag the window, so you can see it moving it left or right here. Give it a second, catch up. And then you can move it around. And of course, if you have the desktop, I could drag it all the way over to the next screen. And so I want to show you guys the how to add a camera. So basically, what it would look like when you first run the IPView Pro 2.0, it actually pops up to this screen. So as you see it, let me give it a second. There it is. So as you see it now, it'll automatically search for the cameras on the local area network. So you can see here we've updated the firmware of most of our cameras in our lobby and for the demo. And I can simply click one of the cameras here, and then I can type in the username and password. So I'm going to type it in here. And then you can see that you'll get a preview of the camera's image. So I'm going to click OK, add this camera. It'll give you a verification that the camera is added to the camera list. So I'll click OK. And then if I drag this window out of the way, you can see that the camera is added to our camera list here. So you can see we have the TVIP 600 right here at the 191 address. What I really like about IPView Pro is if you actually have a similar administration username and password for your cameras, you can actually leave the username and password in this field here and simply go to the next camera, and as long as you get the preview, the username and password is correct, and I can click OK, add this camera. Again, you get the verification. I'm going to wait for it to pop up here for you guys. There it is. Click OK. And then let's go and look at the camera list again. And you can see that we now have 3 cameras in our camera list. So this is good. So pretty easy. Again, if you want to input the IP address of a camera, you can simply click the Input the Location of the Camera tab, and then simply input the IP address and the port number, and again the username and password, and you can add the camera manually. This is more specifically for remote cameras located off-site from where your IPView Pro 2.0 computer or server is. So I'm going to click Exit here. I'm going to also show you guys how to delete the cameras. So I'm going to delete the 400. So you select the camera here. What's nice about the camera list is it actually gives you some pretty detailed information. It gives you the IP address of the camera, model name, MAC address, some more other information here, and then basically I can delete it with a click of a button, and it's gone. All right, so now if I go back to our live image, I can click OK. You see it's still showing the 512p. I can click the page down button to get to our TV IP 600. So I'm going to give it a second to refresh here. And there you go. You can see our TV IP 600 in our lobby. And so you can see that our TV IP 512 camera is recording and motion is detected, so that's a pretty cool feature. I don't know if you guys can see it on the bottom here. Might be a little delayed. But what's also nice about the new IPView Pro 2.0 is you have diagonal buttons, so you can go left up, right down, and left down. And then, of course, you have your up, down, left, right buttons. So I can click these, and you should see the camera move. I'll give it a second. There it goes. So you can see our lobby again. You can also change the view, so I can go to 4-view mode. I can go to the 3x3 9-camera mode. I can go, and then I have a few different options in here. So I have 16 camera mode on the very bottom. I have 25 viewer mode in the middle. And then I have the 36 viewer mode. This is for the 32 cameras that you have loaded. So click these, show you what it looks like. The video gets much smaller, a little bit harder to manage. Then I like these modes here. This is where you have one large camera or one large image with thumbnails around it. So if you want a specific camera you want to monitor, you can do so using one of these views. So you can see here I have one big image, the rest are thumbnails. And then of course you can image bigger and the thumbnail smaller. You can make the image smaller and have more thumbnails. And it goes all the way up to 28 cameras. So I'll give it a second here to catch up. There it is, 28 cameras. And then I can go back to single camera mode. And then I can show you guys the full screen mode. So I'm going to wait for it to catch up again. There it is. Okay. And I'm hovering over the full screen mode button, just like it. And you guys just see the camera image. Might be too much for the there it goes. Good. All right. Hope you guys can see that okay. So I can hit escape to exit full screen mode. And then I can also, I was showing you guys that you can right click and you can choose cameras. You can replace the camera content with the 512, or I can change to the 600W. It changes. I can right click the camera. I can go to connection. I can disconnect a camera. So maybe I wanted to reduce the bandwidth, maybe CPU usage. So I wanted to maybe just view one camera. Especially for the demo, we probably want one camera. We don't want to hog all the bandwidth here. So I'm going to switch back to the 512 image. Give it a second here. And then we'll briefly go over, so you can enable, disable motion detection. It's enabled already. You can enable or disable the digital input ports on the back of the camera. Schedule recording, again, you can enable the mic, enable listening. You can also click these buttons here. So if I wanted to listen, I can click the listen button, and I can hear whatever is happening. Camera's located. Click it again to disable. And then if I want to speak through the camera, I can click the speaker button, and I can speak through the camera now to or get to the camera. Okay, let me let it catch up real quick. Alright, let's shrink the video here so we have a little bit less bandwidth. Okay, so now we're going to go and show you guys just a simple snapshot. So I can click snapshot here, and I have Picasa as my default JPEG viewer. So as soon as you click snapshot, it'll open that snapshot you just took in your default JPEG viewer, and you can simply exit it and return to the program. If you want to start recording the camera manually, you can click the record button, and you can see down here that the camera is recording. Click it again to disable. And then also I forgot to show you guys the scan mode, so let me re-add the camera. So for scan mode, let's say I have it in a large image, I can click the scan mode, and this will actually scan between the different cameras. So I'll let it catch up for you guys. And then you can simply, it'll go back and forth. And again, the default interval is 5 seconds. And I can click it again to stop. And then I'm going to disconnect the camera again to help us out with the bandwidth. And then I will show you guys the different buttons here, different tabs. So we already went over the camera management tab. So if you go to the camera settings, so here you can see again we can select the individual camera that we want to configure. I can leave the 512 as the camera that I want to configure. I can enable schedule recording. I can have it basically just record always, which I guess is a schedule. But if you want to make it a true schedule, you can click schedule and click select. And you can either add a profile that's already been created, or you can create a new template. And so you can call it whatever you want, like morning schedule. You can choose day mode, so from this day to that day. You can choose week mode. This is pretty nice because you can do like all days, or you can do like only maybe Monday through Friday. So you can select the days, and you can select what time the schedule starts at each day. So you can say 8 o'clock to, I believe this is 5 o'clock, or 1700, uses military time. Click add, and then say OK. And now I can click my new morning schedule and add it, and now my morning schedule is added. I can apply this to a single camera, or I can apply it to all. So it saves time by applying it to all cameras if I want to streamline the schedule and streamline the recording. So now we go over to motion detection. So here you can configure your motion area. So you can see here, you can draw an area, you can erase an area, so I can erase the whole thing. You can also click clear. So if I wanted to draw and I wanted to cover the door, I could highlight it here, and now anybody who walks through this door will trigger the motion. We have someone come in here. I can change it to very sensitive, so I can set it to 1%. Save setting. Click exit. And so right now the actions I have are I want it to record, but I can have it also take a snapshot, do an audio alarm on the PC, or I can have an email. And so enable digital input detection. So this is for the input-output ports. You have similar options. Now your recording options, again, I was going to show you guys the size interval. So the size interval goes from 10 megabytes all the way up to 500 megabytes. The time goes from 60 seconds to 1800 seconds. And then the storage folder is users, username, documents. You can change it if you want. Reserve hard drive space for each camera, so you can actually have each camera have a specific hard drive space. You can keep going up. You can set this custom. You can set a custom bit rate to record. If you change this bit rate and lower it, of course you get more time out of the space you've reserved. So you can see here I'm going to get 134 minutes at a 512 compressed image when I have 500 and I'll say 500 megabytes of hard drive space. That's about a half gig. And you can also reserve time for each camera. So you can say how many days, and it'll tell you how much space. And then you have your reserved hard drive space for the system. So this reserves how much hard drive space you want for your whole entire system, 2 gigs. And then other options, pretty simple, proxy. You can set custom audio alerts, time interval, 5 seconds all the way to the 30 seconds. So this is between scans. Your email sender settings. So this is what email address you use to send out the email notifications. And of course your system settings to automatically launch the program and resume manual recording. Okay. I believe that concludes our IPView Pro 2.0 demo. Actually, no, we have the Playback. I'm sorry. Totally forgot. And we have a lot of files here for Playback. So this is the IP Cam player. Totally forgot about this. So you can select the camera. So you can select what camera you want to review the recordings. And so in this case, we will choose our TVIP 512P. So I'll select that. You can select the date if you want. You can select the calendar date, the time. Again, calendar date. You can do motion detection events only. And you can do a search on it. So I am going to select one of these. So you can select all or clear all. So this will basically review all the recordings. So I'll just select all, and it'll basically play through each recording one by one. And you can see here the time and date format is a 4-digit year, so that's 2009, 2-digit month, so that's 07, 2-digit day, 23rd, and of course the time. And then that is a 2-digit hour, 2-digit minute, and then we'll click play. Hopefully you guys can see the playback. I'll give it a second here. So we can see here we have one of our, I don't know if you guys can see it. That's okay. Trust me, there is video playing. It's just the bandwidth is a little too high right now. It's streaming over the webinar. But you can also manually get the files. So this is the IP Cam player, so we can exit this. So I'm going to hit the power button here. And then you can minimize IPView Pro 2.0, so I can minimize that. And then we can go to our Documents folder to find the Camera Recordings folder. And then this is where all of our IPView Pro 2.0 camera recordings are stored. So you can see here we have the TVIP 100W-N. I want to look at the TVIP 512P, so I'm going to click on that folder. You can see here we have the IP address underscore camera name. So I go into here, similar file format, 4-digit year, 2-digit month, 2-digit day. So I'm going to go to today's date. This is the hour the recordings are in, so this is 0700, 0600. So I click on here. I have the whole timestamp all the way down to the minute. I can click here, and I'll open my media player, and it'll play my external media player too. And it is an AVI file. I think you guys might be able to see that. Oh yeah, it looks like it came up okay. So that was the video playback with an external media player. And now we have concluded our IPView Pro 2.0 demo. Now again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to type them in the question pane on the webinar menu. If you guys want to ask a verbal question, you can also raise your hand and we can unmute you and you can ask it verbally if you'd like. So I'll give you guys a couple of seconds to formulate some questions and I'll come back to you. Guys had some questions here. Good. So first question is about our TVIP 512WN and TVIP 512P cameras. First question is, what is the GPIO trigger? So the digital input-output ports on the back of those cameras, you can actually interface them to an alarm system, for example. You can have them trigger an alarm on motion-detected events. You can have the camera also be triggered to record if the alarm sounds. So let's say you have like a Brinks or maybe ADT security system. Someone breaks through your window. You have a 5-volt charge that's sent through the alarm system to the camera, and now the camera is triggered to record that area. And so it's also used for security as well. So it can be used in both ways, where the camera sends a signal or the camera can receive the signal. Next question is, can you record only selected cameras? Yes, you can. In IPView Pro, you can select an individual camera to record, or you can record all of them, or you're going to have a mix match of different recording settings for all your cameras. You can have some that are manually recorded, you can have some that are on schedule, you can have some that are on motion detection only. So you can have a mix match of all different types of recording options for different types of cameras. Again, IPView Pro 2.0 does support up to 32 cameras. All right, let's see what other questions we have here. Give me 1 second. next question is, can recordings be set to loop or overwrite over a selected period of time? With the IPView Pro 2.0, you can actually reserve a specific amount of hard drive space, and it'll basically overwrite the oldest recorded file to reuse the space. So it's called a FIFO, or first in, first out type of recording. So you can't set a specific time, but you can set a specific hard drive amount. Okay, next question is, can recording file locations be changed, for example, to a network drive or a network attached storage device rather than a local computer? Yes, you can actually map a network drive to your computer and record to that mapped network drive. So the recordings are stored locally on your network instead of on your computer's hard drive. What's nice too is the TVIP 512WN and TVIP 512P. They do have Samba server settings where you can actually input a Samba path. You can put in username and credentials and actually save recordings directly to the network attached storage device without IPView Pro 2.0. So this is one of the few cameras that does it in the ProView line. So the cameras as well as the IPView Pro 2.0 can record to a network attached storage device. Good questions. Give me one more second here. Let's see what other questions we have. The question is, does IPView Pro need to be running on a computer for the camera to be recording? Yes. Yes and no. If you want to record through IPView Pro 2.0, yes, it does have to be running in order to record to the application. But specifically for the TVIP 512P, the TVIP 512WN, the cameras in this presentation do support the network attached storage recording, so you can actually record video without IPView Pro. So it's a yes and no question. It just depends on how you want to record. But yes, the cameras can do it by themselves. Another question about the presentation. Can it be viewed later? Yeah, we're going to post the webinar recordings online so you can actually download it. So if you guys want to review this at a later time, share with other people, you can do so. Next question. I have a wireless G router. Will the 512WN work? Yes, the TVIP 512WN is a wireless N camera, but it is also backwards compatible to 802.11g and even B technologies. It will connect to the wireless G router, no problems, but you would definitely want to use a wireless N if at all possible, just because you get that increased range and performance. And so that's always recommended, but wireless B and G routers are okay and they are compatible. Okay, let's see what other questions we have here. Hold on a second. I have a question. It says, if I do not need to be alerted, or I guess notified, can I determine if a camera has actually recorded through motion detection? Yes, with IPView Pro 2.0, the software, that's one of the few that can actually, you can search for specific motion detection events. So let's say that you have it on motion recording only and you don't have the email notification or the FTP upload enabled, then yeah, you could technically go to the recording or the IP cam player the playback and search for motion detected video on specific cameras. So yes, you can with IPView Pro 2.0 only, not on the camera. So that's only through the utility or software. Okay, let's see what other questions we have. 1 second. We have a question about, can I pre-program the pan and tilt button for the number of degrees the camera moves? This is for our pan and tilt cameras that you're using through IPView Pro 2.0. IPView Pro 2.0 itself doesn't have any pan and tilt degree settings, but the cameras themselves, you can go inside and set the pan and tilt degree, so whenever it executes a pan or tilt, it does it by, for example, instead of 1 degree, maybe 5 or 10 degrees, and so you have a bigger pan from left to right, or maybe the tilt degree is heightened or raised, so it has a bigger tilt degree as well. So yes, you can through the camera's management, but not through IPView Pro 2.0. All right, let's see what other questions we have here. 1 second. Question is, to view a single camera, would a user normally just enter the IP address of the camera in a browser? Yeah, you could do that. It depends on how you want to view the camera. If you want to quickly just jump on, the web browser and look at the live view, that's possible. Or you can open up IPView Pro. Both are, good ways to access the camera. If you want to manage the camera, then yes, you definitely want to use the web browser. You do have more options there, image settings, video profiles. So the web browser is nice if you want to configure the camera. Okay, let's see what other questions we have here. Do you guys have a tool to help me determine how much bandwidth I will need for 3 cameras, 10 cameras, etc.? Yes, we do. It is our camera bandwidth calculator. You can go to TrenNet.com, go to Products, go to Internet Cameras, and then in that subsection you'll see Camera Software. When you click on Camera Software, at the very top there is a calculator button. It basically will calculate the bandwidth, a bandwidth calculator, there you go, I'm sorry. And you can calculate how much bandwidth you need for X amount of cameras at X resolution at X frame per second. So we do have that. I'll put it in the answer pane here, a direct link, so you guys can click on that and see it for yourself. So that way you guys don't have to search our website for it. Okay, let's see, one more second. We still have some questions. Again, audio. Can the ability to listen through the camera be disabled? Yes, you can. The administrator account, you can go in, log in, go into the audio settings of the camera and actually disable the speaker and or microphone. You can also change the volume as well. Depends on the camera, on like how advanced the settings are, but you definitely have the enable disable button for most of our cameras that do have audio. So yes, that is possible. All right, give me 1 second here, see what other we have. Another question in talking about the audio. So disabling ability to listen through the camera, can this be done yet allowing the audio to be recorded? if you disable the camera's audio through, the camera, it's not going to record audio at all. If you disable audio, well, I guess the motion detection itself and the manual recordings, they're going to have audio if it's enabled on the camera. If it's disabled, it won't have audio. So through IPView Pro, that setting is carried over. So again, if you disabled it, no. If you enabled it, yes, it will. But you can't have a mixture of both. I guess one solution is you can have the microphone enabled where it's recording audio and just mute your system, that's running IPView Pro. I guess that could be one solution, but there's no way to actually, well, actually, no, you can. You can click on the audio utility. Let me bring this up real quick here. I'll show you guys. Let me share my screen. So you can actually record audio, but you can disable the listen button. So let me see if you guys can see this okay here. Okay, so if I click on this, I can hear it through the program. And if I click it, I'm not listening anymore through the program, but I'm still recording the audio because it's enabled on the camera. So yes, it's possible. Good question. Almost stumped me there. Okay, let's see. Give me one more second here. Let me see what our questions we have. Again, if you guys have any additional questions, any follow-ups, feel free to type them in. We've still got some time here. Okay, so we have another question. If the SD card to record on, if you use SD card to record on, can I play back via IPView? Actually, you can't. You actually have to take the SD card out of the camera in order to review any video that was saved. There's no actual link to the SD card through the web browser or IPView. So you do need to take that card out and review it in your computer separately. Okay, let's see here. Give me a second here. We still got some questions coming. We have a good question about the motion detection. So is there a minimum number of pixels I need for motion detection? In other words, I want 1 pixel and make it max sensitive. Will that work? Yeah, actually, you can paint like a very small area, maybe 1 pixel, maybe 4 pixels, to manage something very small and minute. And you can make the sensitivity very high. So if anything crosses that, of course, motion detection area, whether it be 1 pixel or 4, it will trigger the motion detection and begin recording or whatever you have the motion detection action set up as. Okay, let's see here. What's required to be able to email snapshots from the camera, i.e. email configuration? You do need a SMTP email, like something like an Exchange email account. something that'll allow you to use port 25. Unfortunately, SSL is not supported, so things like Gmail, Hotmail, Live.com, Yahoo, those all are SSL email, and it's not supported at the time. So you do need more of a business type email in order to send out the email notifications. This goes for the IPView Pro application and the camera itself. We do have other camera line, the SecureView line. We're going to have a camera shortly coming out called the TV-IP252P, and the newer SecureView software does support SSL. So if that's something you're looking for, you can go to that camera line in order to get that feature and functionality. It is not available yet, but look for it in the future. So just to kind of make you guys aware of that. All right, let's see what other questions we have. I'm using a browser to view the stream, and I change a profile. Will that also change the video profile at IPView Pro? Good question. It will not actually change how you're viewing it through IPView Pro. IPView Pro depends on what view settings you have. So if you have it on full screen view, it's not going to shrink the camera to the center of the screen if you have it on QQVGA, for example. So it will keep it in the full screen mode. Good question. All right, let's see here. What kind of lenses does the TrenNet offer for the 512? Currently, we don't have any lenses available. You can find CS mount 1/3 inch lenses. You can do varifocal, you can do wide angle, you can do zoom lenses. Any CS mount type lens, it's a 1/3 inch will work without problems. So the TV IR 500 is coming out for the newest version of the 512, so that will be available, I believe, next month, and that'll give it even better night viewing capabilities. Okay, question is, this is the draft end camera, but when 802.11n becomes ratified, what will I have to do to the camera? It just really depends on how the standard is. If it's a simple firmware update, then it's a simple firmware update. But it all just kind of depends on what's happening with the standard itself. So it'll still work with, the wireless and Draft 2.0 routers and things that you currently have set up. So whatever you'd have to do to the camera, more than likely you'll have to do to the router or access point that it's connected to if it is using the wireless end standard. So hopefully it'll be just a simple firmware update. All right, let's see what other questions we have. 1 second. About some of the recordings. So if I record directly to a network attached storage device, can I still view with IPView Pro? As long as that network attached storage device is a mapped network drive, so you can actually have it in your local drives on in your My Computer, then yes, as long as you don't change anything, if it was recorded there, you can play back from there. But let's say that you have the camera recording directly to a network attached storage device, then no, because the camera is set to record to a Samba server instead of a mapped network drive, so you will not be able to review it with IPView Pro if you have set it up in the camera. So again, you map a network drive. to the storage device, and then IPView Pro can record to it and play back from it. Good question. Will IPView Pro 2.0 allow users to view cameras from other manufacturers? I have a few Panasonic camera installations and would like to begin deploying TrenNet cameras into those environments. Unfortunately, the IPView Pro 2.0 application is only compatible with TrenNet cameras, specifically the IPView Pro line. We do have a software called Vortex IP. We have different versions of the software with different features. It comes in two major versions. There's Vortex IP Lite, the Vortex IP Pro. This camera software you do have to pay for, so it's something that is an additional cost, but it works with all of our cameras. It does work with pretty much every one of Panasonic cameras, Axis cameras, Vivotech. Pretty much there's like any popular camera manufacturer, it's almost supported in Vortex IP, so that would be something to look at. If you go to our website under the product families, if you go to Internet Cameras, you'll see a camera software link. Click there and you'll see the different versions of Vortex. And if you have any additional questions about the Vortex IP software, you can email me or Joe. My email is e.davis@trennet.com, and you can email me, no problem. All right, let's see what other questions we have. 1 second. Right, it looks like that's it for the questions. I'm going to give you guys about 1 more minute to see if you have any last-minute questions. If you want to raise your hand to ask any verbal questions, we can do that too. We do have some unanswered questions for some of our users. We'll get back to you via email. I think Joe has given you our email addresses so we can send you more information. So, yeah, feel free to type some more questions if you have any. We'll wait 1 more minute, and then if there's none, we'll wrap it up and we'll finish the webinar. Looks like we are all done here. Thank you guys for the great questions. Thank you guys again for coming out and listening to us, listening to our webinar. We appreciate you guys with the questions and coming out to hear us. If you want to hear the webinar again, we're going to be replaying it at 1 p.m. Pacific time. So if you guys want to come and view it again, or if you have other employees that want to hear what we have to say, you can come and visit again. And then we're also going to have a Spanish version at 9 a.m. Pacific time. So that will start shortly, and that will be completely in Spanish, held by Daniel, our sales rep here. All right. Thank you, guys, and see you next time. Thank you.